is what was your daily routine in your initial days? Because lots of people are making their daily routines 2 hours for listening, 2 hours for speaking. So it's kind of a bit challenging because sometimes we don't get time. So what was your routine in your initial days?
How are you?
I'm fine, ma'am. What about you?
I'm fit as a fiddle. Thank you so much for asking. How was your morning?
Morning is too good because I want to connect with you, and yeah, I did it. And yes, my morning is good. And it's
Wow.
been a long time we are connecting.
Yeah, it's been really a long time, and nowadays I'm really occupied with my other stuff too, and that is why even I'm not able to be consistent with my YouTube videos too. Yes. You were asking in
Okay.
the mail like why I'm not uploading videos nowadays. Actually, in my home, my younger sister is not well. She is under the weather and she has been suffering with throat pain a lot. So it was too severe. Like we all were scared. Like
Mhm.
we don't just want to lose her. So we were scared and we just were busy in that. So now she's doing a bit good.
Mhm.
Earlier it was the critical situation. So that is why I was not able to continue with my sessions and all because every family members, like many family members also are visiting us because of that. So that is why, yeah.
Okay.
Other
So
than
now
that,
your system is okay?
yeah, now she is a bit fine, but her treatment is still going on.
Okay. Mhm.
Hmm.
That's why I thought I should ask it to you.
Thank you so much for the concern. Yes. Yeah. So can you share how's your English learning journey going on nowadays? It's been really long time we had a session, so I don't know much. Yeah.
Okay, so ma'am, my English language journey is going good, and I'm doing my practice on regular basis. And I have inculcated your means reading habits because you were suggesting me. And sometimes I listen videos, and most of the time I try to read something.
Try to read something.
Right.
Great. That is really an essential habit to have in oneself in order to be very confident and impressive speaker. Like
Right.
nowadays, everyone wants to speak English and everyone is trying, but
Mhm.
now the competition is at next level that we want to speak effortlessly and even impressive English too. So for that reason, yeah, reading is one which help you a lot. Yeah.
Actually, reading is very helpful for everyone because in
Everyone.
earlier time, yeah, in earlier time, so I was thinking reading will not be helpful for me, but now I'm realizing it's really amazing.
So which book are you reading nowadays?
Okay, so nowadays I'm reading The Secret, and
Oh
yeah,
my
Who
goodness.
Will Cry When You Die? Yeah,
Mm,
only
it's
two
my
books I
favorite one. Like
okay.
it's my favorite book, like forever. I love the book. So how are you liking? Like, are you enjoying reading the book?
Yeah, sometimes I'm enjoying, but sometimes when I feel fed up, so that time I just leave, and after that 2 days or 3 days, so I usually start it.
Wow, great. Yeah. Sometimes we need to take breaks too from reading. Whatever we do, we need to take breaks. Yes, great. Okay. Yeah. So what else? Do you have any questions for me? Like, have you prepared questions for me? Like usually people come with a lot of questions. Yeah.
Mm. I have prepared four questions for you. So,
Great.
which one? First one is, what was your daily routine in your initial days? Because lots of people are making their daily routines 2 hours for listening, 2 hours for speaking. So it's kind of a bit challenging because sometimes we don't get time. So what was your routine in your initial days?
When I started learning the language or speaking the language, right? So I remember vividly when I started in August 2022. Before that, I was just preparing for banking, so I was not doing anything in English except English subject, like it was also in banking. So the syllabus of English and reading the Hindi newspaper. So that was in me already. I was doing when I was preparing for banking. So reading habit was there only already. Then when I started speaking, I used to speak thrice a day with tutors on Clappingo. So this was my speaking routine, thrice a day only with tutors. Apart from that, sometimes I like initially I didn't know much about Skype application, about Zoom application, about other people, and that time I guess people were not doing that much in
Yes.
2022. I remember when I started, even I didn't know much. So one or two or maybe three times I connected to some of the YouTubers only on the live option on YouTube, because we all were not aware of all the applications,
Yes.
right? So that's why I was not able to connect the with the co-learners. So the only speaking practice I used to do with the tutors. So you can say thrice a week I was doing the speaking practice. And apart from that, I was living there alone, like in PG in Jaipur. I was there in Jaipur that time, so I didn't have much responsibilities apart from my own work, like washing my clothes, and like even the food was also given by the mess itself. So I didn't have any responsibility to worry about and to think about. So I had a lot of time, like all time for myself only. So I used to spend a lot of time with the language. Like I used to read for 1 to 2 hours
Yes.
initially. 1 to 2 hours, it was really difficult,
Yes.
but I had to, because I knew that this is the only thing that will help me a lot. So I used to read 2 hours, 1 to 2 hours, and I used to learn vocabulary part two, words, while listening to people, while watching something, while reading something. And I used to watch a lot of podcasts, like around 1 to 2 hours I used to watch podcasts. Nowadays I don't watch that much, I watch sometimes, but on initial days I used to watch a lot of podcasts. So you can say 2 hours of listening practice and 2 hours of reading practice I used to do. Vocabulary words at the same time, and speaking thrice a week I was doing. Yeah.
Okay. That's good. So, ma'am, when you used to read, so at that moment, how did you read? Means two pages, one time or twice or thrice. So,
Initially, I was not repeating the things. I was just reading continuously for 2 hours, and then next day from next chapter. But then I realized that I am forgetting the things which I read yesterday, or the words I'm not able to recall. Then very late, I learned it late, and then I started revising reading the same books again, especially the books I liked very much. So one is my favorite, which is Do Epic Shit, written by
okay.
Ankur sir. Do Epic Shit. I have read it I have read it 4 times already, and I can read it anytime because this is my favorite one. And even his second book that I have completed one time already once, which is Get Epic Shit Done. First is Do Epic Shit. Second is Get Epic Shit Done. That also I'm thinking to start reading the book again. So, and The Power of Subconscious Mind I read in 2021, I guess, when I was preparing already for banking. So I started reading. Then I didn't get anything because that time I was not able to understand the words, a lot of words. But now I am able to. So I have started reading that book again. Like 2 days
Okay.
ago, I have started The Power of Subconscious Mind. So I used to read aloud for 2 hours continuously, and now I repeat the books. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So, did you work on your grammar?
No, not at all. Honestly, not separately, because I don't like. And because of grammar patterns, I used to hate the language. Then I
Okay.
later got to know that it is not mandatory to learn the grammar separately. You can learn through listening, through reading. When I started actually doing. So when I found this way, I really liked the language very much. Earlier, I used to like the language, but I hate the subject because of the grammar. Because I never understood the grammar patterns ever. So
Okay.
that's why I didn't learn them separately, to be honest, but I have learned all the grammar patterns through reading and listening. So I cannot tell the names of grammar patterns, no, but I know the grammar patterns I can use.
Okay.
Yes,
So, by using sentences,
yes, absolutely. Hmm.
that's good. Okay, yes. Thanks, ma'am. You have cleared my doubt. Actually, now when I will read, so that time I will try to learn or use some sentences in my conversation. So that will be good for grammar part. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because otherwise, you will hate the language when you start learning grammar patterns separately. You will not enjoy, and you will end up, saying like, "Oh, I don't enjoy," or "This is not for me," or "This is a boring task to do." So it becomes mundane after a certain period of time if you learn separately. Because that way we have learned already in our school days. We didn't
Right.
like that, right? And that is why everybody thinks like English is toughest language, but it is
Right.
not toughest one. If you start And if you have a little command over the language, you will understand that it is easy. It is easy to have a command over the language.
And sometimes it depends on your profession. If you want to become a teacher, so you can learn your grammar, because
Yeah.
grammar is must for teachers, right?
Yeah, I know. Because
So yeah,
nowadays I teach students, so I know sometimes I need to explain the grammar pattern too.
right.
Then I start searching in the book because I don't know the name exactly,
Yes,
but I know how to use had been, has been, must, and all the prepositions I can use without, above, on to, into. Everything I can use through listening and reading, but I don't know the names of the grammar patterns actually. So that is why I have to sometimes search. But it is not that much difficult for me, because when you are teaching, when you are talking to people like your students, if I come across any new thing or any grammar pattern which I don't know how to explain, then I let them know that I'll search about it and tomorrow I'll explain it to you. Because
mm-hmm.
I always consider that I'm a learner, so it is not a big deal if you don't know anything. It is just
Right.
a language. So you can excuse yourself and you can say, okay, I don't know, and I'll let you know later tomorrow. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So ma'am,
Acceptance is essential.
my second question is, have you ever felt embarrassment in your initial
My
days?
God. Multiple times, because I started speaking or understanding the language. Understanding I have built when I was preparing for banking. Like for 2 years I was preparing, so in 2 years I got a great command over the understanding part. Like I was able to comprehend properly what is written, because I was reading the Hindu newspaper and I started with Nimisha Bansal ma'am. So I started understanding what is written, but I was not able to convey, express my ideas, point of views. So before that, like when I started, it is okay, but before that, in my college, in my school, in during, like, with my friends, like I didn't have much friends in my college because of this language. Because in I was in JNU is in Delhi, New Delhi. So there, every student used to speak English. Every student in JNU talks in English, and I didn't know anything at all. Even I was scared always to, if somebody asks me any question, if somebody says to me something, I would not be able to answer them. So I used to, escape immediately after the lecture. Like as soon as the lecture finished, I just escaped from and to go to my hostel, because I vividly remember that I wasn't able to stop or stay in the cafeteria, in canteen, or sit with friends. No, and because of this language it happened to me, so it was too embarrassing. And I remember one day I was giving a presentation, and it was in English. So I prepared for 15 days continuously, so I mugged up everything. Like I prepared the PPTs and I mugged up. So I gave the presentation. At the end of the presentation, my teacher asked me, the professor asked me a meaning of a word which I didn't know. It was too embarrassing. Like whole class was silent looking at me. 40 students were there, and all were like, see, like, we were in graduation in JNU. It was really a big thing. So it was too embarrassing, like too embarrassing. I cried a lot that day. Like I didn't know the language and what was the reason and why it happened with me, something like that. So that was again embarrassing. And one time I remember there was an exam of translation, like Korean to English. So first Korean to English and then English to Korean. So I everything was perfect in Korean. Like I was very good at Korean, but I was not good at English. So my professor called me in the office itself, and I went there, and my sir was like, "I'm surprised, Rajni. You have been learning English since your school days. You are not good at English, but you are good at Korean." So at the same time, he was praising me for Korean, but he was scolding me for English. Yeah, so it was again embarrassing that I was not able. But nowadays I worked really hard on English, and now I'm confident. So there were a lot of embarrassing moment happened in my life. And I guess because of that I am able to do this everything in English today. Because then I regretted a lot, I cried a lot, and I, started searching for the ways how I can do actually. And then I put my heart into this practice actually. Yeah.
You are observing them. You are observing. And now you have transformed yourself. So, what is your friend's experience or what is your family's experience? Would you like to share with me?
Yes, yes, definitely. My family didn't know much about my past life too, like what was happening with me in college, what was happening in my school, because I was in Navodaya, so I was not with my family. So they don't know much about the language or what is happening. In college also I was there in Delhi. My parents are here in Rajasthan, so they don't know much about the actual circumstances or actual things which happened with me. But my friends, I guess, knew a bit, not much, because I didn't have many friends. I have only very common friends who are from Punjab itself. So we used to speak in Punjabi with each other, not in English or Hindi. So that is why they were my friends. So we didn't have this environment to talk to English with each other who were from Punjab and Rajasthan. But I was not able to make new friends who were there only in Delhi itself, and I met only after going to Delhi or going to JNU. But and honestly, now nobody knows about me actually. Like my friends doesn't know. My friends don't know about me. Like my YouTube channel, what I'm doing. They whenever they ask, "What are you doing nowadays?" I say, "I'm just passing time and preparing."
Mhm.
Honestly, I just don't want to share, and I don't want to answer a lot of these questions. I know they will be happy, I know that, but I don't share much things. Actually, I don't believe in talking to friends nowadays much. Very often I talk, and I casually say, I ask about life, what is going on and everything. Not much about life, profession, no. So everybody says me that, are you planning to get married? Just I say, yeah, I'm just planning to get married only.
You want to give surprise them.
They will be only few of my friends, like 2 to 3 friends, know that what I am doing. Other than that, they don't know. And I have like only new friends know about me, like who got to know about me after the YouTube channel. So some of them are only from YouTube, people who are just watching and having conversations with me. So they are also now my friends, and a lot of my students are also my friends. Like they are, like, same age, we have same age, so we share a lot of things together. So they are also like friends. Sometimes I take sessions for 20 minutes, but we end up speaking for 45 minutes when the Zoom meeting ends. So we keep talking. So it is like they are my new friends now, so I'm content with them only. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. So yeah, you have shared your experience with me, so that was good. And my next question is, what makes you happy?
Nowadays, this makes me happy. Like while talking to people, I love talking nowadays. And I always love talking, but initially it was just fear in myself. I was introvert too. I was not able to make much friends. That was also reason, and the language also biggest reason, I must say. And I used to speak less. But when I get comfortable with people, I speak too much. I can share a lot of things. I can listen to them, and that happens with me multiple times, especially with my students. When I start talking to them, I just keep talking, keep talking. So this is what makes me happy nowadays. And when I enjoy time with myself, like while reading also, I enjoy, because while reading now I'm able to understand everything. So that makes me happy, that now, Rajni, you are able to understand everything and see how much you have changed, how much you have improved. So when I see results in myself, in my life, and on the things which I'm really putting my heart into. So when you are doing the practice and you are able to see the outcomes too, so that makes me really happy. And other than that, like kids are one which always makes me happy, always make me happy when I see small kids around me. So my younger niece is here right now. My elder niece is with her parents, and younger one is here. So I always love them and
So
love
your
spending
kids,
time with them.
your kids will be fortunate.
Yeah, yeah, sure. And love spending time with my family, my grandmother, because I used to stay outside only. Like since my sixth standard, I have been living outside. Since six to my graduation, till my graduation, I was outside. So I missed my family a lot. But I'm really privileged that I started this work, that I can live with my family. I don't need to go anywhere. I don't need to stay anywhere. So these days I'm with my family. I have shifted in March itself. Yeah. So it's been 2 to 3 months that I've been living with my family. So I have a grandmother too. I spend time with her. So everything is perfect in my life right now. So I'm enjoying it. So that
Like,
makes me happy. And family matters a lot to me. I don't know why, but it matters.
this moment is actually very good when we live with our family, right? And
Yeah.
what makes angry?
What makes me angry? Uh, Angry. I used to get angry earlier a lot. But I think I worked on myself. Like I started doing the breathing exercises, meditation, yoga. So now, whatever, if something is irritating me or something is annoying, I think like I'm very conscious about my thoughts and about how am I feeling. So I don't know why I ask this question multiple times to myself in a day. How are you feeling, Rajni? Like this comes automatically. Like because of practice, I guess it comes automatically, and because of breathing exercises, I can say that I'm present. Like I know what I'm doing right now. I know what I'm feeling right now. So I'm able to observe my thoughts very, explicitly. So I think there is nothing right now that can make me angry. Mm, Sometimes when there is no electricity, when I cannot have session with somebody, I used to get angry in on these things too. But now I understand like that is not in my hands. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because I don't want people to wait for me. So if somebody is waiting for my session and I am not able to conduct, that annoys me a lot. Like the person is waiting for you and you are here not available. So it used to annoy me a lot, but nowadays I have just tried to mitigate the severity of it too by feeding the continuous thought that it is not in my hand. So I just mail people that this is happening or this is the reason, or I can tell that next timing. So this is how I'm handling my emotions nowadays. So I think nothing that can make me much angry nowadays. Earlier it was, there were a lot of things
Because if you know, so you can manage. But if
you
you
can
don't
manage.
know, so what the other person is facing, so we don't know exactly what is happening on the other side. So that time it really makes us angry.
And at the same time, earlier when I was in college or in school, you like unknowingly we have the expectations too from our friends, right? But nowadays I don't have any expectations from anybody. I'm enough for myself. So sometimes when I'm free, then I talk to them and I don't have any expectations. I just like normally ask questions related to life and the things. Yeah, so I think that is again one, I guess, great thing in your life when you are satisfied with everything and you don't have any expectations from anybody and you don't feel that much, I
Right.
guess.
Expectation is really bad when we
Hmm.
do expect from other person. So that time
Yes.
we are just fool because
Hmm.
we are not thinking about ourselves or our family members. So all times we think about other person, and expectation is really bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Experience.
It yeah annoyed me a lot in my college life, but I have worked on everything related to mental health, emotional health, and physical health. So everything is perfect now. I'm grateful.
Okay, so my questions are done. If you have any questions, so we can exaggerate.
Hmm. So let me know about your weaknesses or strengths.
Okay. So my strength is my family, literally. Because when I feel any kind of weakness, so I try to talk with my family members, and that gives me strength all time.
Wow.
Because yeah, before this I was learning this language, but I skipped many times, 4 times or 5 times in between for 6 months at least.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
I started it again because by the virtue of my family support.
Wow. It's really incredible. I am really glad that you have the very supportive and beautiful family. Great.
And my weakness is I am underconfident. Sometimes I try to manage my confidence in front of other person, but when I meet offline, face to face, so that time just it makes me underconfident. Yes,
Hmm.
that is my weakness.
It's it's pretty inevitable, I guess. It happens with everybody. It happens with me too. I don't get that much comfortable when I face people. But when I spend a little much time with them, then I get comfortable with time. So if they are totally new for you, then it's inevitable that feeling a little awkward or thinking that what should I ask or how should I start the conversation. So it is normal, yeah. But with practice, we can overcome that too.
Right.
Yes, yes, yeah. That's it. I wanted to ask. Yes, so we can just wind this session up right here. I have another session at 11. Yeah, I forgot about it. Yes. So, okay. Yeah, thank you so
Yes.
much for connecting to me, for having the
Yes.
lovely conversation. It was really, really amazing talking to you. And nowadays, I really enjoy talking to people freely. I don't think about the content much. I don't know why. Nowadays, I'm not thinking much about content, and I know I will be able to create great content in future. So that's why I'm not thinking much, but I'm just enjoying the process. So thank you so much for connecting to me.
And thanks for giving me your precious time.
You're welcome. You're welcome,
Okay.
dear. Yeah. Have a
Have
great
a
day ahead. Yes. Bye
okay.
bye.